So in my last video, I had an issue where I tried hooking up the power supply and my meters were pinned and it looked like I had some power at one of the rails but not the other. Well, I did a bunch of investigating. I started tearing things apart on the board and seeing if I was grounding out one of the rails. Turns out that the problem was actually right here on the voltage regulator. The voltage regulators themselves were getting too hot and they were shutting off. So I don't know why one was shutting off before the other. I did have a little ceramic tile on one of them and not the other, so maybe it didn't dissipate the heat. But basically I think it was the -17 rail was shutting off. So since I had an extra couple rails, I haven't talked about this before, I ended up hooking up a little fan to it. And once I hooked the fan up to it, the board came on and it stayed on. But if I turned off the fan, the rail overheated in seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit better of I'm working on making a little bit better of a heatsink. And that's what I have right here. It's from an old power supply, computer power supply. It just jumped over there, but I kind of had to cut it up. There was extra fins that I cut out. Let's see if you can see that. And used the Dremel, and had to cut little slots to get my screws in there. So this is all drilled. It's all ready to go. So I just gotta attach it on. It should get a little more light here, but it should attach right onto the back of this real nicely. But again, my chassis that I found at the Goodwill is real tight, so I don't know if this is all going to fit in with the heatsink. But we'll see. If not, I'll use the other one, as I've said. And also, I'm thinking about mounting the fan like right on top there, and just having that always blowing in there or something. Just make sure that this doesn't overheat. Alright, I got the heatsink attached. It was kind of a pain in the butt to do because, as you can see, there's no room to get to all those little screws, so I had to bend it back. Like this, kind of get in here and hold it in. Use my little needle nose pliers. And there's you have to make sure I haven't tested this yet, so we'll see how this works out. But there's these little insulators that have to go in between the voltage regulator and the heatsink, or you're just going to have an issue with shorting out components and burn out resistors. So I'll have to do a test to make sure that I didn't short anything out. Another thing I had to use was I bought a little blister pack. What did I do with it? Of this thermal grease, and this stuff, silicone heat transfer compound. This stuff's expensive and it's gross. I've never really used this before. It just got everywhere. Got on my clothes too, so it's just really, it's like petroleum jelly, silicone petroleum jelly. It's gross. So, alright, well, that's all I'm going to do for now. Oh, and one other thing I was concerned about with this heat shield on here, heat sink on here, that it wouldn't be able to fit in to the box. So I think it may still work. And there's not a lot of room in there for anything else, but it fits. Alright, I have the heatsink's all screwed on. If you see in there, I got everything coated in that awful thermal compound, and everything's tightened down. I checked that the resistance, just to make sure I'm not shorting anything out, the resistance was infinite in between the voltage regulators and the heat sink. So I guess we can, look, plugged in on the board. Try this again. Try to do this so I don't electrocute myself. Okay. Oh, and they pin right away again. God damn it. There must be something loose down here. Okay, well, I had this kind of loose here so I could check all the voltages, and I think this was actually kind of resting down here and shorting out one of the rails or both the rails, so I just stuck it back up on the standoffs, and yeah, everything seems to be working right now, so hopefully nothing's getting too hot. This is pretty warm, but it's, you know, hopefully doing its job. Everything seems okay. The meters are where they should be. The lights are coming on. Alright, I want to hook up some speakers to this and see if it's working. Alright, wish me luck. Okay, I got the board. Mains out, plugged into a couple speakers, powered speakers. I have a microphone plugged into channel 1. Now, I know I got a condenser mic. I got a couple condenser mics. I searched through everything. I pulled out all my boxes and cables and all my stuff, and I can't find them. So I'm thinking, I also had a box of things that I took down to my practice studio, so I'm hoping that they're in the box at the practice studio. Alright. With that said, let's see if we can't turn some things on here. Get them to work. Alright. Testing, testing, testing. Hey, 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 hey. Now the interesting thing is I have never used this board, so I don't know what I'm doing. So we probably got to send this to mix. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Oh, there's something. Peak, 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 peak. Test, test. Test, 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 test. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Okay. It does not sound right. Alright, well, I'll do a little more testing and see what I come up with. Okay. How about this? It works. So I had to... I don't know what I have to do to get it go out the... I've got the speakers plugged into the control room, so I think I have to have a certain combination of buttons pressed here. Hey, 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 hey. So I thought this was a solo button. Mix, mix, mix. Seems to be working. Yay. That's awesome. Okay, one last thing, hopefully for this video. This thing is scorching hot. I mean, the good news is that it has to be pulling some heat away from those voltage regulators, because it seems to be working right. And I'm thinking I really gotta have a fan on this to cool it down. Okay, that's the hole for the transformer. See, I'm taking a big chance here because I already soldered everything in on the power side, on the main side. So now, if I have problems, I'm going to have to unsolder things and make adjustments. Alright. So, put the holes for the standoffs. So let's see if this is actually going to work. You know, I kind of eyeballed it. Yeah, I gotta make these holes a little bigger. Okay, well, I'm hoping that this is getting to the end of this video series. I have everything mounted inside of the chassis. Like I said, it's real small, but everything's in there. Everything's mounted, screwed down. Use some wire ties to keep all the wires together so they're a little bit more organized. I even have the little feet screwed up through to a little piece of metal, and everything's grounded to the chassis. That's supposed to be, I hope. I put a little wire connector here for the fan. And where is my fan? Up here. So I have the fan all installed up there. And all I got to do is just plug it in and screw on the top, and we should be good. Alright, we got it all buttoned up. Light turns on. Fan turns on. I think we're good to go. Okay, here we go. This is it. I think this is hopefully my last video. Turns on. Got the speakers connected. Oh yeah, I'll show this. Power to screw on connector. And I really don't know how to operate this board very well yet, but check, 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 and it works. And it's very distorted, but hey, check, check, because my speakers aren't up very high. But I think we can call this project done. So, Andrew Gormley, finished with my Soundcraft power supply build. There's my Soundcraft board. Well, my friend's Soundcraft board. Calling it a good day.